How to get gold as a support without having to get kills. This guide was requested by one of the lads in the Dota for New Goons chat in Pyrian Flax's subscriber Discord. They wanted to know when it was appropriate to get farm as the position 4 or 5, so here it is. How to get farm as a support without having to get kills. We'll talk about pulling first. It's the first and most consistent way to get gold early on in the game as a support. Pulling not only gives you gold, but also can help to reset the lane equilibrium for your carry, giving them a much easier time in lane. Pulling grants you gold and XP, as you can last hit the neutral creeps which are attacking your lane creeps. It might not be much, especially if it's the creeps in the small camp, but it's consistent, and more than you'll get from standing idly in lane. If you don't know how to pull, or know what pulling is, but don't know how to do it, here's a quick rundown. Pulling is where you aggro the neutral creeps to your own lane creeps. This helps reset lane equilibrium, which is where the two creep waves meet. Poor lane equilibrium can put your carry in danger as they are further away from the friendly tower and thus have a higher chance of being run down and killed by the opposing offlaner and support. You attack the neutral creeps either at the small or hard camp and they will chase you to wherever you run to for a short amount of time. You want to run them towards your wave, wherein your lane creeps should aggro to them. If you let the neutrals attack you, this will increase the aggro range, making it more likely you'll get your lane creeps to attack them. If you pull from the small camp and you haven't stacked it, you'll need to pull the creeps through to the hard camp, or otherwise the lane will push, making it harder for your core. You pull through to the hard camp the same way you'd normally pull. You lead the creeps in the hard camp towards the small camp, timing to where once the lane creeps have killed the neutrals in the small camp, they will then go and aggro to the hard camp. The neutrals in the hard camp will easily be able to finish off the lane creeps. And there's your quick rundown on how to pull the lane, which will help both not only you and your carry. Stacking. The next way to increase your net worth as a support is to stack camps. When someone else farms a camp you stacked, you get equivalent to 35% of the gold bounty of the stacked creeps. Note, this is only for the creeps that would have spawned in the camp when you stacked it, not the creeps that were there before the camp was stacked. This gold is also not taken away from whoever farmed the stack. Now, the average hard camp is worth around 101 gold on average, as of writing, so you'll gain 35.35 gold after the camp is farmed. When stacking, make sure to stack the safest camps in the jungle, as you don't want to be giving them away to the enemy, as not only they'll be able to accelerate ahead on your behalf, you also won't receive any of the gold from them farming the stacked camp. You want to be stacking camps whenever you can, so keep an eye on the clock. If you're passing through your jungle to go ward or gank elsewhere, make sure to stack whatever camps are nearby. In some parts of the jungle, you'll be able to stack multiple camps at once, getting you and your cores even more gold and being efficient with your time. The next way to get gold as a support is to take over empty lanes. You'll gain a lot of net worth if you can take over empty lanes when they're available. For example, if you rotate middle to help your mid laner, but he dies, don't just leave the lane immediately. If you stick around, you can get yourself XP independent of your lane partner and you'll continue to pressure the enemy mid laner, as well as getting that all-important gold until your allied mid laner has returned. You may also find that if you're going towards mid and your mid laner is rotated to gank another lane, you can also take farm middle, as well as achieving your goal of placing wards on the map. If one of the cores are farming the jungle, you can take over their lane while they're away. As you can see on the screen, the Wraith King has entered the jungle, giving the Venomancer time to get gold and XP in lane, and since Veno isn't needed elsewhere on the map, he can sit in lane for a while farming up his next items. Don't have reservations about hitting creeps when no one else is around. I feel like I see a lot of lower bracket supports standing around in a free lane not hitting creeps, because they know they shouldn't take away from their cores. But when the cores aren't around, there's no point in not taking them. They're ripe for the picking. Next way to get gold as a support is by pushing. If you're playing a hero who can shove waves with your spells, you can nuke out the wave to get yourself some gold. But two things. If one of your cores needs the money, leave it to them, even though you want the gold. It's much more valuable in them instead of you. Don't be stealing it from your cores. The next thing is to push the waves when your team wants to push and take objectives. Don't just randomly shove and take the waves from under one of your cores. Remember, the gold you take off the map shouldn't impact what potential goals your cores could get. If you're in a free lane, shove in the waves as it'll help chip down the enemy tower, which will eventually fall and give you a decent amount of gold. D-wards. Dewarding can grant a nice bounty of gold and XP. This is going to sound really obvious, but place down sentries in common ward spots, e.g. the cliffs. If you get a deward on an observer, you'll get 100 gold, as well as 50 XP. This also scales throughout the game, with the gold bounty increasing by 4 gold per minute and the XP bounty increasing by 6 XP per minute. You don't have to be the one to kill the ward to get the gold, you just have to be the person to place a sentry. If you want the XP, however, you will have to be in range. It's always worth having sentries on you, as you can not only control the enemy team's vision, but also gain a fairly sized bounty on top of that. Next up is bounty runes. Now this is going to be a bit repetitive, the bounty rune section, in my everything to do with Dota 2 guide. So if you've read that, you can probably skip over this part, but it's still a good refresher. Bounty runes start with an initial value of 40 gold per person, increasing by 10 gold per person every 5 minutes. If you get 2 bounty runes at 5 minutes, it'll equal 500 gold total, 100 gold each. This can be vital for you, the support, early on. It could be the difference between you getting your next item sooner rather than later. Getting all 4 runes also denies all of that potential gold from the enemy team. Try to get as many as you can. 4 runes at 5 minutes is 1000 gold total for your team, 250 each. Don't settle for 2 runes each. Take as many as you can. You most likely need it. Well, that's about it on how you can increase your net worth as a support without having to get kills or just straight up stealing from your team. Any feedback on this would be appreciated, and I hope you'll find this helpful. If you have any suggestions on what I could do next, please comment and say so. I've started to once again occasionally stream on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/bleepo101. If you're interested in replay analysis or that sort of thing, come on over. I usually watch replays that are sent to me, and I try and suggest ways people can improve, and then I send them a Google document afterwards so they can have a look at that as well. I also occasionally stream the Pyrian Flax in-houses, which are every Tuesday. If you want some alternate commentary to that, they're always good fun. Yeah, and that's about it. Good luck in your future games, and I hope you find this helpful. I'm out.